In today's reading, we are going to be looking at the happiness that is going to be coming your way. So if you are interested in finding out exactly what sort of blessings you can look forward to, then keep on watching. You are in the right place. So we have 3 decks and 3 doors for you to choose from. So you have 2 ways to navigate which pile calls out to you the most. And these go as such. For pile number 1, we have the Muse Tarot and the first door. For pile number 2, we have the cute Chibi Tarot and door number 2. And for pile number 3, we have the Wizard's Tarot and door number 3. To choose the right reading for you, make sure that you are not distracted by any outside noises or anything like that. Try and get yourself as grounded and as mindful of the present moment as possible. If that helps, you can close your eyes and take a few deep breaths and just look at these piles, look at these doors and see what comes up for you in your body, what sort of sensations you feel, and just go off of that. See what pile you are more sort of drawn to. And as always, trust your intuition, but please also use your discernment as you're watching this reading and listening to these general messages. When you feel ready, you can go into the description box and click on the timestamp that you need and jump straight to your reading. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile number 1. So if you chose the Muse Tarot or the first door, then this is your reading. But we are going to be looking at those in a bit, because first we're going to start off with some pre-prepared oracle cards. And just before we jump into these cards, I just want to say a quick thank you to all of you for your support, for any likes, comments and subscribes that you have shared. It really helps this small channel out so much. So I just wanted to say thank you for being here. But anyway, let's look at these oracle cards, which are going to tell us a bit about what it is that you are going through right now, what's going on in your life. And so as you are looking and hearing these messages, then, well, looking doesn't make sense, but you know, as you're hearing these messages, hopefully it will make sense to you, whether you are watching the right pile or not, if this is talking about your life. So let's see. Okay. Okay, we have the snake here too, and let's see what, okay. So pile number 1, obviously there is a giant snake at the center of your reading, so clearly this whole spread is talking about a period of transformation, going through a bit of a rebirth process. The feeling that I'm getting here, pile number 1, regarding what it is that you're currently going through, is that you could be rediscovering a lot of things. Firstly, about yourself, and secondly, about some of the things that you used to do or feel excited about, or that you know, that you felt called to explore when you were younger, when you were a child. I mean, the first card here is a card of like childhood, innocence, just levity, feeling really good, feeling very happy and fulfilled. And we even have some butterflies here too, which is another symbol of going through a transformation process. And I definitely feel like you are rediscovering, as I said, some possible hobbies or interests that you have maybe abandoned for a while, or that maybe you just didn't have that much time for in the recent past, or maybe in the past years. It definitely seems to have something to do with your interests, with whatever excites you, with your passions, with your creativity and how you want to express it. And there seems to be a rebirth regarding that. But it also feels like there is some sort of reconnection to your inner child, or to just something that makes you happy. And I feel like there is more of a focus on you trying to bring more of those things into your life now that do bring you joy, that do bring you excitement and fulfillment, making more time in your day-to-day schedule, or just rearranging your schedule, your routine somehow to accommodate some of these more light-hearted things, more exciting things, and just allowing yourself to express yourself in a very creative way, in a fun way, things, doing things that would just bring more happiness and silliness into your life, instead of just, being super serious and responsible and doing the things that you know that you have to do and you have to take care of. Trying to make some changes when it comes to that, because I know that, snakes are not the favorite for a lot of people, but they do talk about shedding your skin and sort of becoming this new version of yourself, or also, getting grounded and feeling very one with nature and with sort of the, your surroundings, the life that is around you. I feel like you are getting very much more in touch with your body as well. There seems to be something very like sensory about the things that you are trying to focus on more. And it's almost like these activities that you feel called to explore, or that you feel called to take up again, they seem to ignite some sort of like sensory experiences in you. It's like, I feel like you have a desire or this need to do something with your hands. Obviously with the snake card and this grounding element to it, you could be working on like gardening, or planting things, or just, even if it's like, because depending on wherever you are placed in the world and whether, the seasons allow it, you could just be incorporating more like plants into your living space as well. I don't know, that's something that is coming through. But it just feels like you're trying to brighten things up. You're trying to brighten up your living space, the everyday surroundings, trying to bring more fun and color and vibrancy into whatever it is that you are doing. Also, as I was talking about this sensory experience, I feel like you need to do something with your hands again. So it could be like playing an instrument. It could be sculpting something, or like physically writing, or cooking, even something like that. It just feels like you're feeling called to do something like physical, to use your body and to express yourself physically some way. Now we also have, both of these cards, actually, we have these two cards, which again are sort of referencing some sort of initiation, or going through a portal and going through a rebirth of some kind. Especially with the Phoenix here, there is a very large emphasis on bringing something like back to life, or reigniting something. So, it could also be that maybe you experienced some sort of loss or some sort of like ending, because with this Tunnel card, it seems like there could have been something that just like possibly suddenly or out of the blue ended for you, like an old way of being, or an old like routine, or something that you were used to. This could even just talk about having a bit of a dark night of the soul, or going through a bit of a tough time emotionally, spiritually, maybe even physically as well. And now you are sort of coming out on the other side of it. And it seems like as a result of this possibly like change, ending, or a darker period, a more intense period, it's like you are making these changes now. It's like you have more energy and you have more drive and passion and determination to, do some things differently than you did before, and just, again, make some things either like a priority again, like revitalize yourself somehow, or it seems like you just have a lot more energy and a lot more motivation to do things. Again, it feels like you are sort of focusing more on you know, bringing your life back into a more like colorful and fun place after some trying times possibly. And I feel like for some of you, even like it feels like you are discovering who you are or rediscovering who you are, because maybe whatever this thing is that you've either lost or walked away from, or that was taken from you, or, you know, even this more like emotionally difficult time that you have gone through and that you are now coming out of, maybe that, you know, encouraged some sort of change within you. It almost like shifted you to the core. And so now you are finding out who you are, what it is that you want, what it is that you like, what it is that you dislike. And yeah, this just feels like a sort of coming out the other side and bringing fire and energy and passion back into your life. So pile number 1, this feels very, very like powerful, significant. It feels like a lot of little things are sort of shifting and moving, and yeah, it seems like a very exciting time for you, pile number 1, even though it feels like it hasn't necessarily been the easiest process to go through. But it definitely feels like something that you are grateful that you have come out of now, and you know, you are sort of finding a way forward and doing the best with this new sort of reality that you find yourself in. So let's look at some tarot cards next, because we are looking at the happiness that is coming your way. So if you could resonate with these messages, if this makes sense for you and what you have been going through and what it is that you are dealing with right now, then make sure to keep on watching, because we are going to start looking at the positive surprises that are going to be coming your way. So first off, let's see what sort of exciting new thing is coming in for you in the next 3 months that is going to make you happy. Ooh, okay. We have the 7 of Pentacles that came out in reverse. And we have the Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So with the 7 of Materials, as it is called in this deck, which is actually the 7 of Pentacles or 7 of Coins, I feel like you are sort of coming out of a period of waiting and of a period of needing to be patient and just not really seeing too many results. You're starting to see some sort of awards or just fruits of your labor, because whenever the 7 of Pentacles comes out, it always indicates that there has been a lot of work put into something, that there has been time and energy and effort and whatever other resources that you have invested into having something, you know, play out. But it is a longer process whenever the 7 of Pentacles is involved. And so it requires a lot of patience. But because it is coming out in reverse, it is clear that the waiting period is now over. And so if you have been waiting to hear back on something, if you have been waiting for a green light or for something to sort of move forward, it feels like that is definitely happening in the next 3 months. We also have the Ace of Inspiration or the Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So this is a very, very auspicious card, especially in this instance, because it is talking about, again, new drive, new life, new passion, things sort of progressing or having a lot of potential to grow very rapidly, because we are dealing with the fire element. The Ace of Wands is also a card of an opportunity or something new being presented or becoming available to you to make use of as you see fit. And again, because this is some sort of spark, something that ignites you in some way, something that is exciting, I feel like there is so much joy to be had from whatever this sort of situation is that you have been waiting on, or that you have had to sort of be patient about. Because we're also dealing with the earth and the fire, element. The thing that is going to be coming in for you could have something to do with, again, like a career path, a hobby, a side business, a project, something like that. But if it's not like creative in that sense, it could also have something to do with like relationships, you know, like, even though we're not dealing with cups here, but it definitely seems to be something that is exciting to you. And I mean, because we had all of this like creativity and hobbies and, you know, just expressing and exploring different interests, it definitely feels like it is more something to do with like career or like a potential side business that could earn you more money, or just something that, again, like, you know, makes you happy. I feel like it is more associated with that, but obviously I will let you sort of see what sort of scenario resonates more with you. But yeah, it definitely feels like something that you have been waiting on is sort of moving along and bringing you some excitement. So let's look at how you are going to be positively surprised by the universe in the near future. So let's see. Ooh, wow, that was very matter of fact. Okay. Well, we have 3 cards. So we have the 2 of Inspiration, which is the 2 of Wands, the 10 of Inspiration, which is the 10 of Wands that came out in reverse, and the 10 of Voices, which is the 10 of Swords. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the 5 of Coins again. So with all of these cards, I mean, we have 3 cards here that are possibly some of the most difficult cards in the minor arcana. And so there is definitely a reference to you having gone through some difficulty, some trying times, and, you know, possibly having to battle these losses of faith or having some doubt crop up, especially because with the 5 of Materials or the 5 of Pentacles, there is a message of, you know, not having what it is that you need, feeling a sense of lack, if this card would focus. Sorry, it's not the easiest to work with this camera sometimes. Oh my goodness, okay, there we go, finally. So with the 5 of Pentacles, there is a sense of feeling left out in the cold, feeling like you have been abandoned or like you have been cast aside, and there isn't that much support around, there isn't that much understanding or compassion around. You could have felt like the universe has sort of forsaken you, or, you know, God or spirit or whoever you resonate with and believe in. You know, you could have felt like someone has forgotten about you, and it just feels like a very, you know, like a very lonely and a bit of a hopeless energy that I feel like you have gone through. So again, if this is some sort of dark night of the soul and, you know, becoming somewhat confused about who you are and what your purpose is and all of these like bigger question things, then obviously this is something that this 5 of Pentacles could refer to. Or again, you know, if this is something more like mundane and practical, in the sense that if you have, you know, lost your job, lost a source of income, or if you have been evicted, or you have had to move, or, you know, like let go of something that you have been very fond of and very attached to or very used to, then it seems like there is some sort of new horizon opening up, because with the 2 of Inspiration or the 2 of Wands, there is some sort of a decision that you possibly have to make, where you are sort of looking ahead and where there are some new opportunities opening up, or a possibility of exploring something that you haven't explored before, and sort of venturing out into a new experience that could potentially be a lot more fulfilling and a lot less distressing, because we also have this 10 of Wands in reverse and the 10 of Swords. So this is definitely indicating that some sort of suffering or some sort of difficulty that has been weighing you down is coming to an end. So it's almost like you have gone through the worst. You have gone through like the darkest part of the dark night of the soul, and now things are becoming a lot more easy, and it's almost like you can leave this difficulty behind. You can set yourself free from it and move away to something that is much more, again, much more exciting, much more promising. I feel like with the Two of Wands here, this opportunity that is opening up for you is something that is like kind of taking you by surprise. Like it's something that is much more exciting than you maybe thought was possible, or it just feels like it brings a lot of hope to you. Because look, at the bottom of the deck behind the Five of Coins, we also have the Star, which is a card of Aquarius, and I'm just pointing out the signs in case you resonate with them. And the Star is all about hope and rejuvenation and finding faith again after a difficult time. And so this is very promising. Maybe a part of this new horizon that is opening up for you, or this new opportunity of moving forward, is actually tied to these difficulties that you have gone through, and you can almost use that as inspiration in like your creative expression. So I'm just going to give you a random example. Maybe you feel like starting a podcast. Maybe you feel like writing a book about like what it is that you have gone through and how you have changed and what you have learned as a process. So, just again, giving you some examples. I'm not saying that that's exactly what you are going to be doing or what you have to be doing, but just to sort of illustrate the point. So yeah, I feel like this is very, very hopeful stuff, and let's keep going. So let's see where you are going to feel most supported in the upcoming months. Okay. We have the Queen of Emotions, or the Queen of Cups in reverse, coming out at the bottom of the deck, and the Six of Voices, or the Six of Swords, coming out. So with the Six of Swords, it definitely feels like you are going to feel supported when it comes to moving away from the difficult period that you have gone through and finding a sort of a path forward into possibly like the unknown, or something that you are not that familiar with, but just moving away from the difficulty of what it is that you have gone through and moving to more stable and just sort of comfortable times. Because a lot of this reading and pretty much all of these cards are talking about some sort of progress, some sort of moving away from where you have been, and things becoming more easy again, and sort of faith being restored and all that. And so I feel like it's almost as if the universe is helping you in like eliminating some sort of roadblocks, is what I'm getting. Or it's like you are not going to be met with as much resistance, or it's like this process of journeying forward and leaving this sort of difficulty or whatever this sort of darkness is behind, and as I said, like reinventing yourself or reinventing your life. That seems to be something that you are almost supported in, and it's like you can feel how much easier it is, and I feel like it's not something as like spiritual as just like, oh, spirit is encouraging you or supporting you in this. I feel like you actually notice how some of the processes that you are going through as a result of moving forward, and whatever that means for you. If that entails like moving to another country, or if that entails moving to a new house or a new apartment, or looking for a new job or anything like that, I feel like you will actually sort of see things almost like magically being a lot more effortless than what you anticipate. And so, even if you want to start some sort of hobby, or you want to start some sort of creative project, I feel like the way in which you sort of go through that, and even the sort of the beginning process, that seems to be something that is made a lot more easy for you. So either like someone comes in that like helps you, or someone gives you really good advice, or someone is almost like a mentor or a guide in the process of like helping you set something up, or you just sort of stumble upon really useful information that you need that is going to make the going through the whole process a lot easier. Or, you know, if you have to do some paperwork, or you have to go through like a lot of these different steps and like, I don't know, bureaucratic processes or something like that, it's almost like things progress more quickly, or they are a lot easier to go through, and like the paperwork doesn't take as much time and stuff like that. That's like just some of these again, some of these examples that I'm feeling here to give you an idea of what the Six of Swords is about when it comes to like where you are going to feel supported. So in whatever way you reinvent yourself and sort of progress forward, it feels like the steps that you have to go through are going to be made a lot more easy for you. And I feel like you're going to be surprised again. It's almost like you anticipated a lot more obstacles or a lot more delays and stuff like that, but I feel like it's almost like a streamlined process. Now with the Queen of Emotions at the bottom of the deck, it came out in reverse, but I'm just going to show you the illustration. This is a card of Cancer, but it can also refer to any water sign. So we also have Scorpio or Pisces here. And I feel like it's almost as if you are going to have an easier time of like letting go of certain attachments. So if you have, you know, felt very emotionally tied to certain things that you had a hard time letting go of, it's like because of the ease or the support you feel in the moving away process, it's easier for you to let go of whatever this attachment was. And I also feel like it's going to help you to work through some of the like possible grief or, you know, like sadness of having to like change some things around and having to let go of something. So yeah, as I said, it's kind of an interesting energy here, pile number one, because there is some like sadness and difficulty that is still attached, although I do feel like you are moving away from it and you have left a lot of that behind. And there is a lot of like excitement and newness here too, but it almost feels like this, like it's all like a big jumble of emotion, you know, like a bit of a roller coaster. So anyway, let's keep going. So what sort of special message does Spirit have for you regarding what it is that you need to hear right now for your highest good? Okay. We have the Page of Pentacles in reverse at the bottom, and we got 3 cards again. So we have Awakening, which is the Judgment card, the 4 of Emotions or the 4 of Cups, and the 8 of Materials or the 8 of Pentacles. Spirit is saying with this Awakening or Judgment card that obviously you are going through a large transformation and a very significant personal rebirth. So this is a card of Pluto. And so there is another sort of attachment to the sign Scorpio. And just in general, this is a very, very sort of transformative energy, because it is signifying that there is something new that you are being called to explore, and that you are sort of invited to step into a new way of being. That there is this sense of, you know, leaving an old way of being or doing something behind and embracing this new chapter that is opening up. But obviously this is not something that is easy to go through necessarily, but it also requires a lot of trust and belief that whatever you are feeling and whatever you are called or you feel called to do is like the right thing to follow at this time, because there could be a lot of uncertainty and a lot of unknown. But I also feel with this 4 of Cups and the 8 of coins here that, you know, it's almost like Spirit is asking you to just like walk through this period of emotional turmoil that you may be going through, but don't get like stuck in it, especially because we also have the Page of Pentacles that came out in reverse. And this is a bit of an energy that can talk about, you know, getting a bit obsessed or getting a bit too tied up and too enmeshed in whatever it is that you are experiencing. Yeah, becoming a bit too tied up in that. So I feel like with all of these cards, Spirit is saying that it's important to feel those feelings, especially with the Four of Cups. It's important to sit in that and really like allow these emotions to surface, and so, you know, to make sense of them. But with the Eight of Coins, it's also important to like move through that, to be practical about what it is that you are feeling, so that you wouldn't allow that like emotional state whenever you do feel like you are a bit sad or a bit depressed, or like you are experiencing some fears and doubt and all that. Allow that emotion to move through you, but then also, you know, do something about it, or move around, or turn it into some sort of like practical outlet. Again, I feel like that is a major keyword here for you, and I feel like that's why all of this like creativity and self-expression is here too. Why it's so emphasized, because I feel like it is going to help you to process all of these difficult and very varied emotions that you are going through and experiencing, and to like transmute them into something that is actually healing. And also, I feel like, especially because of the Eight of Pentacles here, there is also a reference of using your experiences, using these emotions and everything that you are going through as fuel to create something, to turn it into some sort of like product, something that is tangible, something that is physical, or, you know, okay, that's sort of, that can also be in a metaphorical sense, because again, you know, if you were doing a podcast or something like that, then obviously it's not like a tangible thing, but hopefully you kind of get what I'm saying here. So yeah, definitely with this Judgment here too, this feels very significant, very divinely inspired. It's almost like a bigger spiritual lesson here that you have gone through and that you are going through. And I feel like it is ultimately going to lead you someplace where you are supposed to go, where you are supposed to end up, even as it may be somewhat like confusing and difficult to understand or navigate right now. But I feel like, as I said, I feel like there is a lot of hope and positivity in this reading. So it is becoming easier and easier and easier as you are going through like these next few months. So I want to close the reading out with some advice from Spirit for your highest good regarding this reading. So let's see what sort of advice we can get. Okay, beautiful. Wow, okay, this is so on the nose yet again. We have the Vulture and Asphodel with upheaval. So yeah, the Vulture is one of those symbols of, you know, death and decay and getting rid of that. So even though they have a bit of a bad rep and you know, they're not the favorite sort of bird for, I guess, a lot of people, because they are sort of, yeah, they're seen as like dirty, or like they have a lot of, like they carry a lot of disease or something like that. But actually they are getting rid of the gunk and the disgusting dead tissue and all of that like we don't really want to deal with, so that the natural cycles could continue. And yeah, I feel like it's just such a like a confirmative message here that like, again, things are going to be easier as you go through this process and as you come out the other side. And again, I feel like this upheaval that you have clearly experienced is going to like lead to something. It's going to all mean something bigger. At the bottom, oh, okay. That always happens, you know. I try and get all the cards to be nice and neat, and then, you know, I just completely mess them up. So at the bottom of the deck we have Mischief, and yeah, I feel like this is a bit of a cheeky card, because it's almost like, you know, it's almost like reminding you to try and have a more lighthearted approach to life in general and what it is that you're going through. And obviously with this, again, with all of this inner child energy and this like excitement and new opportunities opening up and all of that we have been talking about, I do feel like you are trying, or at least a lot of you are trying to do that, to sort of stay positive and find some sort of meaning in it, or, you know, like not take things so seriously, so that, you know, that you wouldn't be completely tied down with whatever it is that you have been going through. But obviously it is not, like, most likely not the easiest thing to do, but I feel like it's something like this humor or lightheartedness is something that is also going to make this process easier for you. And finally, let's look at the message behind the door that you chose for this reading. Sorry, it's not gonna, it's not zooming in again. So anyway, this says, a moment's joy, sand through the hourglass, yet time could stand still. A moment lasts forever in the bless of the heart's will. So I feel like, yeah, this is, again, one of those more like sweet, hopeful cards, I feel like, which is just encouraging you to, again, like find joy in little things and, you know, focus on the activities and things that bring you joy and that bring you some sort of lightheartedness. So it kind of feels, you know, like it's attached to this mischief card again. So I'm not going to start repeating myself, but yeah, it's a bit of a complex reading, as you could most likely see from these cards as well. But I hope that you made it this far and that these messages were somehow like useful to you, supportive or insightful, or at the very least that it was, you know, entertaining for you to watch in some regard. And I thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me. As always, I hope to see you back on this channel very, very soon. Take care, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to your reading pile number 2. So you chose the cute Chibi tarot and the door number 2, but we are going to be looking at those in just a bit, because first we're going to start off with some pre-prepared oracle cards, which are going to give us an understanding of what it is that you are going through, what sort of circumstances you are currently dealing with, and hopefully after hearing this description, you are going to understand whether you're watching the right pile or not. And before we get into the cards, just a quick thank you for being here, for your, you know, subscribes, likes, comments, everything like that. It helps this channel out so much, and I truly appreciate it, and I appreciate your energy and you being here. So thank you. But let's get into it. Okay. Okay, so pile number 2, this feels like a very eclectic energy, and it feels like you are running around and super busy, trying to keep everything afloat, trying to keep yourself sane and somewhat functional as you are going through your life. But it does seem like it is somewhat difficult, and it does seem like it is starting to get to you a bit. So first off, we have this card over here, which is kind of like a courthouse, or just talks about like legalities and official business. But for some reason, I'm drawn very much to the scales on this image. And so it does seem like you are trying to keep everything balanced. Like you are trying to accommodate all of these different sorts of demands that you have in your life. And it's like, as I said, it's like you're trying to keep things afloat, even though it does seem like the scales are like, that's at least what I'm seeing in my mind's eye. It's like the scales are like tilting one way and the other quite like extremely. And so it's like you're trying to like dance with these different currents, these different, again, different demands, different responsibilities, the relationships in your life, like your private life issues that you need to deal with, but then also your career demands, or any sort of like, again, official business that you have to take care of. So it feels like you are doing this dance, almost like a 2 of coins energy, if you are familiar with tarot. And we also have these 3 cards. And so again, this is making me think that there are so many like options and things that you are trying to like simultaneously do and take care of. For some reason, it's making me think of like priorities. And so I do feel like you are having a hard time like dedicating yourself to one specific priority, even though it's clear to me that you have a very specific priority, because as you can see from these images, the one door at the center here is one where you can see like there is light shining through the keyhole, and so it's almost like you have access to this door. There is something very like valuable behind that door, but then like the doors right next to it, it's almost like, I'm sorry if I'm not explaining it the best, but it feels like you have something that is very important to you, like that is very valuable to you, and you know that it is the most important thing for you. But then at the same time, like these not as important things, you are also trying to take care of those too. So it's kind of like a people-pleasing sort of energy, if I can say it like that. Hopefully you won't get like offended, because it has a bit of a bad rep, that word, but it's just like you're trying to keep everyone happy and you're trying to keep everyone fulfilled and satisfied. And with this plain imagery here, or this travel, it does feel like you are just, yeah, it's just making me think of like speed, like moving around a lot, you know, just trying to get to everywhere that you need to get to, and trying to, you know, just like take care of everything, take charge of everything. You could also actually be in the process of like expansion somehow as well. Maybe you're expanding your business, because we have this like official card here too. Maybe you are signing some contracts, maybe you are acquiring new clients, or you know, if you have some sort of little business, or maybe even a bigger business, it could be that you are trying to move that business overseas. So there does seem to be some sort of expansion at play here too, but obviously that's not going to resonate for all of you. And clearly there are results that you are seeing here too. So whatever this is that you are doing, it is paying off, in the sense that you are reaping rewards, you are seeing your hard work pay off. But at the same time, like amidst all of these cards, we have this like demonic energy here. And so it almost feels like it is like zapping the life force out of you. Like it is, that's what I mean when I said that it feels like this energy is getting to you, and it's almost like it's eating away at you a bit. Yeah, even though I feel like you were trying to push through it and brave all of these different things that you were doing, and be super productive and be super focused on your goals and do everything. There is something about this way that you are navigating things, or how much energy you are spending on doing everything and achieving everything. It feels like it is starting to get to you. Now, some of you, this is again more of a specific message, so I'm not sure that this is necessarily going to resonate for a lot of you, but it could be that some of you are also going through like a very nasty divorce process, or just a separation process that is getting a bit ugly, and that is again like getting very, like weighing very heavily on you, especially because of both of these cards. So you know, it could be that you are going through some sort of a legal process like that, or you know, even if it's not like a divorce or a relationship issue, it could be some sort of like contract issue that you have, that you are also trying to battle or resolve. But just more broadly, as I said, this feels like a very just a very busy energy pile too. It feels like you are very busy bees, and you are giving it your best, but I feel like, yeah, I feel like it is also costing you quite a lot as well. And possibly some of these costs you are starting to see already, and they are starting to take a toll on you in a very noticeable manner. Anyway, that's what I'm feeling, pile number 2. If you could resonate with this scenario, if you recognize your life based on these descriptions, then make sure, Sorry, I can't speak. Make sure to keep on watching because we're going to look at some tarot cards next to see what sort of happiness is coming your way. And the first thing that we are going to look at is what is coming in for you in the next 3 months that is going to make you happy. Oh, wow. Okay, we have the Tower and we have the Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So with the Tower card, we have some Mars energy coming through over here, and Mars is associated to both Aries and Scorpio. So I'm pointing out the signs in case you resonate with them personally or you recognize them around you. But with the Tower card, it feels like there is something that is going to be like disrupted or almost like broken down that is actually going to make you really happy. So whatever this destruction is, I feel like it is something that is going to make your life a bit easier, or something that is going to like take something off of your plate. Now, even though the Tower is a very disruptive energy, it's a very sudden energy. It usually shocks people, and it's something that is not your doing. It is something that is outside of your control, and something that, you know, people don't necessarily welcome when the Tower comes around and shakes their life up. But in this instance, because we have the Seven of Swords at the bottom here too, it's almost something that you have been secretly hoping for. So it could be that, you know, maybe you have so many clients that you need to service or like take care of, and it's as I said, it's getting too much, right? It's taking a toll. So maybe secretly it's like you are hoping that some of these deals that are in the process, you hope that don't actually end up going through, or that some clients, you know, decide to end the contract or something like that, because it almost feels like, first off, it feels like you can afford it. It feels like you actually have more than enough work to like go around, and it's not like you are necessarily going to miss the revenue, or it's like it doesn't seem like it's going to hit you very hard if some of the workload is being taken away. And it's like, more than anything, you actually are going to be very happy and welcoming of like the lighter load that you get as a result of it. So, and this was just an example, right? I feel like I need to emphasize that. This was just an example. I'm not saying that that's like the case for all of you, but it definitely feels like with the Tower, the universe or like life circumstances or someone else outside of you is going to do something or start a process that is going to get rid of something or break something down in your sort of routine, or the sort of the workload or something like that. I don't know. It feels like you are going to be very happy that things are shaken up a bit, and that you have the ability to let go a few things. Again, certain things, certain responsibilities are going to be taken off of your plate. Again, with the Tower, this could also mean that some sort of like secret, especially because of the Seven of Swords here, some sort of secret could come to light. So some like revelation or important information is going to be coming through for some of you. And that is the thing that is going to make you happy, because it's almost like it's going to give you a certain level of understanding or comprehension, especially if things have been, you know, somewhat like confusing, or it has been very difficult to make sense of how, for instance, like your relationship is with someone, or where you are standing with each other, or maybe you are somewhat confused as to what a client actually wants from you, or, you know, what is required of you, or what is expected of you, or something like that. It feels like there has been something that has been puzzling you, or where there hasn't been that much like clear communication, and that seems to be something that is potentially resolved as well in the next 3 months, or where you get some clarity about it. Now, let's move on to the next question. So how are you going to be positively surprised by the universe in the near future? Whoa. That flew out quite intensely. We have the Eight of Cups in reverse and the Eight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So I feel like with the Eight of Cups in reverse, especially with the Eight of Pentacles being at the bottom of the deck here, it feels like you are going to have an opportunity to like repair something, or to work on something that has almost been lost for you. Or, you know, with the Eight of Cups, there is this notion of someone's needs not being met or feeling like they are unfulfilled and not really getting any emotional nourishment or sense of happiness from where they are and how things are anymore. And so there is this like desire or this wandering of like, what else is there? And maybe it's time to leave the current situation and move on and find something more fulfilling. But I feel like because the Eight of Cups is in reverse, it's almost like if something has been broken down that was emotionally very significant to you, then I feel like it could come back around for you to be like dealt with and to possibly mend, because the Eight of Pentacles is also talking about like diligence and putting in a lot of effort to perfect something, to improve upon something. So you could have a chance to do that, especially with the Eight of Cups being a card of the water element. So this can very likely talk about a relationship of some kind. If you have had a bit of a falling out or like your relationship has cooled down, there hasn't been that much closeness, intimacy, affection, or anything like that, then I feel like you could have a chance to actually, again, work on it, repair it somehow. Like this person that maybe possibly walked away from you, it doesn't have to be like a romantic partner or anything like that. They could just be someone around you, someone that you had a significant relationship or connection with. They could be coming around to like talk things out or to mend fences. So you will have an opportunity to work on that relationship if that's something that you desire. Or in a completely sort of different scenario, this could also talk about having the opportunity to, possibly work on something that is more so of a priority to you, to like prioritize something that you maybe haven't prioritized before, or that you weren't really too emotionally invested in. So there's this opportunity of working on a certain relationship or certain connections. It could be even plural, or just working on something that you possibly have neglected a bit, but that is something that is still important to you, something that you don't want to lose out on, or that you don't want to walk away from, but that you just haven't had too much time for, that you haven't been emotionally invested in. And now in the near future, you're going to have time to do that. Maybe because of this Tower energy, which like, again, takes something off of your plate so that your schedule opens up a bit more and you're going to have more free time to spend on these connections that mean to you, that mean a lot to you, or just doing something that is, again, emotionally significant to you in some way. Now, let's keep going. Let's look at where you are going to feel most supported in the upcoming months. Okay, we have the Knight of Swords at the bottom of the deck, which is Gemini energy. And we have the Knight of Cups that came out in reverse, which is Pisces energy, but this can talk about any water sign, so Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. And we also have this air energy, which is Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Yeah, so the Knight of Cups in reverse, again, I'm going to show you the illustration upright. But this energy makes me think that there could definitely be certain relationships or certain emotional connections. So these doesn't have to be simply, relationships to other people. These could also be like little passion projects or things that make you feel happy and that bring you joy, that you feel very strongly about. Any sort of connections like these that, again, spark some emotional responses in you that are very like positive and uplifting. I feel like those sorts of activities and relationships have possibly fallen a bit on the wayside, or they haven't been as big of a priority for you as maybe you would have liked them to be. It feels like you are now going to have a chance to put more focus on those things. So it's kind of a similar message to the previous one, but with the Knight of Swords, it feels like there could be a certain person, again, they could be an air sign, but they don't have to be, that is almost like encouraging you or helping you or motivating you to spend some more time on these things that matter to you, that you haven't, again, possibly had too much time for. So I feel like it's like you're going to feel supported in re-establishing some of these connections, or reinvigorating, or putting more effort and putting more focus on these projects or hobbies or activities that bring you joy, or these connections that you haven't had too much time for. And maybe that have, again, maybe you have, sensed some distance growing there as well. And it feels like you're going to feel support in strengthening those ties, or becoming a bit more involved in those things again. So if this is talking about some sort of like, having some time for yourself, taking a long needed like vacation, holiday, anything like that, or maybe it's just about doing some sort of art projects, or doing something creative, right, that brings you like emotional fulfillment. It could be that this Knight of Swords is someone that is going to like support you in handling whatever sort of day-to-day or practical matters that need handling, so you could have more time in re-establishing that connection that, again, is very crucial to your soul and your emotional well-being. It feels like that's where your biggest support is going to be coming in from. And finally, let's see if there is any specific or special message that Spirit wants you to hear that is for your highest good. Okay, so we have 3 cards. We have the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, the Chariot in reverse, and the 10 of Swords in reverse, with the 9 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So I feel like with the with these cards, it's almost like Spirit is calling you out a bit, but like in a gentle way. That's what I feel like, because we have this 9 of Wands at the bottom of the deck, and so clearly this is a very specific not encouragement, what's the word I want to say? Confirmation that you are feeling worn down, and that you are feeling tired, that you need a bit of a break and you need a bit of a rest with all of the chaos and everything that you have gone through. It feels like you feel rather beaten up, and it feels like, everything that you have gone through is taking a toll on you. With all of these cards here, we have by the way, the Chariot is a card of Cancer, so there is more water energy coming through. But we have 2 number 10 cards here, and the Chariot as well. So I feel like this is almost, all of these cards came out in reverse, but again, I'm showing the illustration to you upright. So, sorry, you can't see that well, so I'm just going to show them one by one. With the 10 of Swords, I feel like this is almost a bit of a warning, or just asking you to consider what it is that you are giving up if you focus too much on like the practical aspects of life, and possibly neglecting some of the more emotionally fulfilling aspects. Because with both Chariot and the 10 of Pentacles that came out in reverse, it almost feels like Spirit is saying that, do you really want to end up in a place where you have like seemingly everything, but then you still don't feel fulfilled by it, or you don't feel supported, and you don't feel good about where it is that you are, where you can't actually enjoy the fruits of your labor to the fullest extent? Because the Chariot in reverse is almost a message of being led astray, or just getting a bit like sidetracked, or losing sight of what it is that you actually want to achieve. Yeah, I love that there is even a question mark here. Feeling like, where is it that I'm even going? Like, what is it that I'm trying to achieve here? And yeah, I just feel like, with the 10 of Swords here too, Spirit is just asking you to consider making some changes before you reach a point where, things are a lot more difficult to change, where you feel like you have lost out on something that is very important to you. Those are kind of the messages that came through here, pile number 2. But I also want to close the reading out with some oracle cards to, you know, give you some advice from Spirit regarding this reading that we just did. So sorry, these cards are just sliding all over the place. So yeah, let's see if we can get any advice for you from Spirit regarding this reading. So any advice for your highest good? That was kind of quick. Okay, interesting. We have... Okay, this is insane. We have the same cards that came out in pile number 1's reading, but just like in reverse. So you have mischief, and I do feel like Spirit is urging you again to you know, make more time and to try and not take life so seriously, you know, to remind yourself to also have fun and be silly at times. I feel like that is a very, very important message here, because ultimately, you know, at the bottom of the deck we have this upheaval card. And so, yeah, again, I feel like Spirit is kind of giving you a warning here to pay attention to these things that do matter to you, that are a priority in your life, even if you haven't treated them as such necessarily. You know, if you have neglected them a bit, or if you haven't been there as much as you would have liked to be, then I feel like Spirit is really encouraging you and asking you to do something about that, to change that, and to, again, put more emphasis on the more fun aspects of life and the more emotional aspects of life. But before we close the reading out completely, let's look at the message behind the door that you chose. So this says intuition, simple, complex, words of pain or words that heal. You come to know truth by the way that it feels. So, yeah, I feel like there has been a lot of messages about, you know, being in touch with your body and giving yourself a break and focusing more on these like softer emotional aspects. Yeah, clearly it seems like your intuition is speaking to you and you are being called to listen to that. Right? Yeah, I guess that's it. That's all there is to say, pile number 2. So thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me. I truly appreciate it. And I hope that this reading was useful, insightful, or at the very least entertaining for you to watch. And as always, I hope to see you back on this channel very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile number 3. So you chose the Wizard's Tarot and also door number 3. But we are going to be looking at those in just a bit, because first we are going to turn our focus towards some pre-prepared oracle cards, which are going to tell us a bit about what is going on in your life right now, what sort of circumstances you are dealing with. So hopefully as you listen to these messages, it will be easy for you to understand whether you are watching the right pile or not. And just a quick thank you as well before we get into the cards for your subscribes, your likes and your comments. I truly, truly appreciate you being here and sharing your energy. And yeah, it just means the world to me. So thank you. But let's get into it. So, okay. So pile number 3, I definitely get a feel that for you, there is something completely new and fresh and exciting that you are experiencing and going through, and where you're having to sort of learn the ropes a bit or get more acquainted with the way that you're supposed to do things. So first things first, I do feel like for a lot of you, this newness has to do with a relationship of some kind, or when it comes to you and another person. I'm not talking about romantic relationships only when I speak about connections and relationships, right? Because there are all sorts of relationships and they all serve a different purpose in our lives. And I feel like with this card coming out, there is a heavy emphasis on assistance, reliance, and support. And so I do feel like a very big part of your life focus right now is to be of support to someone else that needs your help or that needs your guidance or general presence somehow in their lives. I feel like they are playing a very significant part in your life right now. You know, this could also be the other way around. Maybe you are needing to rely on someone else for this time or for the time being. Maybe you are the one who is asking for help or asking for some sort of instructions or having to rely on someone else because of, you know, the way that things feel so new and unsure, and maybe you are just trying to get a footing, you know, or is that the expression? You know, trying to gain a footing. Is that, sorry. I'm not sure whether that's an expression, but you know, it feels like you are trying to find some sort of stability in this situation. Now, the reason why I feel like this is actually a very exciting thing for you is because of this card, which is in essence talking about the summertime, you know, when everything is in bloom and everything is sunny and everything is warm and vibrant and alive. And so it just feels very like carefree, especially with this specific imagery. And just like there is a lot of play, a lot of joy to be had. So for that reason, it could be talking about like an actual birth of a child. So for some of you, that's like the relationship that is at the forefront of your life right now, and that is at the focus. But you know, whatever sort of relationship it is, it just feels like you are having to, you know, rediscover some joy, or it's bringing about some form of like childlike innocence and opportunity and optimism and just vitality in general. It definitely feels like it is stirring something in you. And we also have this purse card, and this is making me think that, you know, this is some form of very like personal relationship. So that's why, even though it doesn't have to be like a romantic relationship and it doesn't have to be a relationship with your child, but it does feel like this connection is not, you know, just like between you and a colleague or something like that, or you and an acquaintance or something of that sort. You know, this feels like a relationship that is very personal, that is very close to you, something that you most likely don't feel like sharing very openly with the world. This feels like something that is sort of close to your heart, or something that you hold more close to your chest. And I feel like, you know, with this card, this does feel like it is a fresh relationship, or this is a fresh connection, or just, you know, it's almost making you see something in a new way, or it's even making you like discover something completely new about yourself, possibly as well. It's almost like you have been reborn, or you have like come out of your shell and expanded or grown in some way, like developed into a new state, or there is a new side of you. And because of this last card here too, that is what is making me think that there is something that you are trying to like learn or get a handle on. Like it's not something that you are necessarily very familiar with, or it could also be that this connection is teaching you a lot, or you are learning a lot about yourself and you're learning a lot about this other person, or it's like expanding your worldview and your perception on things. So this feels very exciting. It's almost kind of like a first love type of energy here, or again, that like connection that you get with your child. It's just something that is so completely new and something that is very visceral, but that also at the same time like excites you and opens up this whole new world of possibility. Now, even though, as I was saying, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, but if it is some sort of romantic thing for you, then it definitely could even be that there is like most likely a connection that you have established with this person, but it might not necessarily be like a full grown relationship just yet. It could be something that, you know, it's like you are harboring these feelings towards this person, but that you are not necessarily sharing them. And you are in this very like initial stage of even exploring what it is that you are feeling and just experiencing that excitement, that like butterflies in your tummy, like that sort of feeling. But just in general, pile number 3, I do feel like at the forefront of your life, there is some sort of like personal, private life focus, you know, like home life, family life, being very, very focused on like relationships and connections, exploring that part of life. So yeah, if you can see those sort of developments or fresh new beginnings in your private life, then definitely keep on watching, because you are most likely watching the right pile if you could resonate with this. And we are going to look at some tarot cards now. So more specifically, we are going to start looking at what is coming in the next 3 months for you that is going to make you very happy. Oh, okay, we have the Queen of Swords that came out in reverse, and we have the Fool at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so first off, the Queen of Swords is a card of Libra, but this can talk about any air sign, so this could also be a Gemini or an Aquarius. And this card came out in reverse, and so I do feel like this is symbolizing a thawing of some sort. Like that's the word that I heard when I was looking at this card. Thawing, like something is melting, something is warming up that, you know, has been maybe a bit shut off previously. So if this is talking about you, if you have a lot of air in your birth chart, or you resonate with the Queen of Swords energy, then it does seem like you are starting to open up a lot more and become just slightly more, like, again, optimistic and receptive and open-minded about like what life could be, and just opening up your horizons. Because at the bottom of the deck, we also have the Fool that came out. And this is obviously a card of the major arcana. And so it is talking about these like bigger archetypal energies. The Fool is a card of Uranus, so there is another association to the sign Aquarius. But this is just talking about like this newness, like, you know, diving into something that you are not familiar with, something that may involve a bit of a risk, but something that is also exciting and that could potentially lead you to a very, very exciting journey and a completely transformative experience, right? So there is a lot of possibility and potential whenever the Fool shows up. And so if this Queen of Swords energy is talking about yourself, then it could be that you are starting to see a lot more possibility about what your life could turn into or how your life could change. And again, very specifically when it comes to relationships and how you relate to other people and what sort of connections you have in your life. And maybe if you haven't had that many connections previously, or if you have been more so like isolated or feeling a bit more lonely, and like you haven't met too many people that you truly vibe with, it seems to be something that is changing in the next 3 months. And obviously, because of all of these cards, it does seem like there is already some sort of person in your life, or there is some sort of connection that has been established. But with the Queen of Swords, it feels like there is going to be some sort of, again, like a warming up that is happening, some sort of perspective shift that is taking place. Now, this Queen of Swords could also talk about another person. So this could be an individual who comes in, and again, if they have been a bit more like prickly, a bit more like, you know, standoffish, or giving you a cold shoulder or something like that, then it does seem like in the next 3 months, your relationship with this individual, especially if they are like a family member, like your mother, your sister, or someone like that, like or even just a sibling, right? It doesn't have to be a female energy specifically, but it's coming through very female or very feminine. But, you know, if you have a person like that in your life that you have maybe grown a bit distant from, or that you have had difficult relations with, it could be that in the next 3 months, your relationship is starting to warm up a bit, and you are starting to like get on better terms. especially with the Fool energy here, it could be that you are like starting afresh or starting new. But I actually want one more card. Can we get one more card? Thank you for this Queen of Swords. Yeah, we have Strength in reverse and the Star. Yeah, so there's definitely healing involved here. By the way, the Star is another card of Aquarius. So there is heavy, heavy Aquarian energy. Again, if you have Aquarius, like a significant placement in Aquarius, then this most likely is talking about you. But you may recognize that in someone else as well. And yeah, this is heavy, heavy healing and just like starting to see things from a more optimistic viewpoint again. And we also have Strength, which also came out in reverse. This is a card of Leo. So this is definitely indicating that there has been more like, possibly more like ego that has been at play here, or a bit of a tough exterior that has been difficult to penetrate. So again, whether this is talking about you or whether this is talking about another person in your life, it feels like there is, again, like some sort of walls are coming down and things are getting a bit easier when it comes to either yourself becoming more vulnerable and opening up, or starting to see more possibility in life, or, you know, having an easier time getting to a more positive place with a certain individual in your life who, you know, is this Queen of Swords type energy. So let's keep going. Let's see how you are going to be positively surprised by the universe in the near future. We have the Hermit and the Hanged Man that came out in reverse. So lots of major arcana. So with the Hermit, this is a card of Virgo, but it talks about having a certain level of wisdom and a certain understanding of like deeper internal currents within you, and using that as a guiding light, you know, using that as something to help navigate the world moving forward. And I feel like the way that the universe is going to surprise you in the near future is by how you are able to utilize all of this wisdom that you have gained, especially from the periods of time where you have been on your own, or where you have felt more isolated from other people, or where you haven't felt that level of like deep connection. I feel like that time has taught you so much, and it has taught you specifically a lot about yourself and a lot about the world. It's almost like you have all of this very insightful knowledge and wisdom that you have the ability to share with other people now, or you actually have the opportunity to make more like high level commitments and relationships, or establish more high level relationships with other people as a result of gaining all of this like self-awareness and wisdom and understanding. And also because of like this level of comfort that I feel like you have developed as a result of having to either like rely on yourself or just be on your own for a while. But the Hanged Man, especially as it is coming out in reverse, is indicating that now you are coming out of this standstill energy where things are starting to move, and you are able to make practical use, actually put it into use, the things that you have gone through. And I feel like there is also going to be this like aha moment that occurs with the Hanged Man in reverse. It's almost like all of this waiting period, or again, all of this like isolation or everything else that you have gone through in the past, it's now starting to make sense, or it is going to start making sense in the near future, why things worked out the way that they did, and why things possibly took a lot longer than you would have liked them to. You know, this is actually one of those energies that makes me think of, you know, let's say that this is talking about some sort of romantic connection, and maybe you are one of those people who has had to wait for a partner for a very long time. Maybe all of your friends are already like married or living with their partner, or, you know, just in like a committed relationship, and they found their person very early on, or at least a lot earlier than you. And maybe you were like the one last single friend that always ended up like being on your own, or, you know, being surrounded by all of these other couples. And now it's like, as you are developing this connection, or as you are beginning this exciting new emotional journey, you finally understand why it took so long, or why you had to wait for this person. It's almost like it all makes sense, and you can sort of see how worth it was to not settle for anything less, and to hold your standards high, and to work on yourself, and to work on, again, like self-awareness and self-actualization and all of these things to like really get yourself to a very strong and sturdy place. And so yeah, it just feels like you are going to like understand that now. It's going to make sense to you now. So let's keep going. Next we have where you are going to feel most supported in the upcoming months. Wow, beautiful. Yeah, we have the Six of Cups and we have the Four of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So I definitely do feel with the Six of Cups that you're going to feel very supported again in your relationship. Now, or again, in plural, it could be several relationships in your life. But this is definitely talking about that like kindred spirits type of connection where it's very genuine, it's very compassionate, and just focused on like giving and making the other person happy, not, you know, giving because you want to, and giving out of the goodness of your heart rather than expecting something in return, right? It's not like that give and take energy of the Six of Pentacles. This is about wanting to do something nice, wanting to do something kind for the other person, and just showing your appreciation for that person in your life. And I feel like it is going to feel like you are so secure and so safe in that connection or in that relationship, because we also have the Four of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, and this is all about stability, security, and safety. And so I do feel like however this connection is resonating for you in your life, I do feel like there is a genuine level of feeling seen, feeling supported, feeling like this person has your back, or that you have this person's back, and that they care about you for you and not for what you can do for them. So it's very like a very unconditional type of love that is coming through the Six of Cups. And I feel like that is one of the things that is making you feel like so fulfilled, again, so secure, and just so confident in moving forward. So yeah, that is amazing. And also, you know, if this is not talking about like some form of new romantic relationship that you have or anything like that, then it just feels like the support is going to be coming through very significant like soul ties that you have, either with like your family members or again with some very close friends. Just feeling like you are seen and supported by someone that cares about you. And I feel like in the upcoming months, you could actually receive some sort of gift that like makes you feel very, again, very supported, very seen. This could even be some sort of like financial, like a financial support. Like someone is like gifting you money or something to, you know, to help you do something that is significant to you. This again is more of a specific message, obviously. So it's not going to resonate for all of you, but it does feel like some sort of gift could be coming your way, and it just makes you feel very like loved and again supported. So let's look at the final message, which is the special message from Spirit that they deem is important for you to hear for your highest good. Wow, we have the Magician, so more Major Arcana energy, and the Eight of Pentacles that came out in reverse. So I feel like with the Magician, which is a card of Mercury, by the way, so there is a connection to both Virgo and Gemini, I feel like Spirit is saying that you are ready, you are fully prepared to do whatever it is that you want to do, to put yourself out there, to make stuff happen. You have all the tools necessary, you have all the skills necessary, even if you feel like you don't have that much experience, or again, it feels like you are starting to... It almost feels like you're starting from scratch, quote unquote, or like you are trying to learn, you know, about this new situation that you are in. But I feel like with the Magician, Spirit is saying that you are actually a lot more prepared than you realize, or, you know, that you can pretty much handle whatever is thrown in your path, or whatever challenges or obstacles you are potentially faced. And with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, right? I'm going to show you the illustration again. With the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, it's almost like there is nothing more to prepare for. Like, you don't have to worry about feeling like you are not good enough yet, or like maybe you don't know everything, or you need some more preparation time or something like that. There could be some potential, again, some like potential fear that crops up, or something that makes you sort of question whether you are fully prepared for this relationship. So there could be some certain instances or points that arise throughout this journey that you are embarking on where you feel slight hesitation or you feel slight doubt about how you were able to handle everything and whether you were doing things right and stuff like that. But I feel like Spirit is pretty much trying to alleviate these fears or alleviate these doubts and put your mind at ease that you are so powerful, you are so ready, and everything that you have gone through in the past has prepared you for this moment. So even if you haven't had experience in this specific capacity that you are in, right? Even if you haven't had too many relationships, again, let's take the relationship example. Even if you haven't had that many relationships in the past, everything that you have gone through, all of the lessons and hardships that you have endured and come out of or come through, they have made you a stronger and more resilient individual, and they have made you, be ready for anything. So I feel like Spirit is just saying that you are a lot more equipped than you realize. So there is so much like divine energy here, all of these major arcana cards. It does feel like this is a significant sort of turning point or milestone for you. So whatever this newness, freshness, excitingness is that you are experiencing and that you are embarking upon, it does seem like it's something that has been prepared for you and something that you have been prepared for. So very exciting stuff, but let's close the reading out with some oracle cards. I want to get some special supportive or advice messages from Spirit for your highest good. So let's see. Whoa. You got two cards. Okay. And at the bottom of the deck, oh, I love the underlying energy already, but we will talk about that in a second. So we have the Frog and Lotus with metamorphosis, clearly, and we have the Rooster and Sunflower with communication. Okay, I love this. I absolutely love this. So yeah, it does seem like you are transforming your connection and your communication with someone, right? Because I mean, a connection is truly like all about communication. Communication is like the pillar of a good relationship or a good connection. Yeah, it just feels like this connection is something else. And I feel like Spirit is really, wanting you to have faith in it and to be more confident in it as well with the Sunflower and the Rooster energy. It feels like Spirit is trying to pump up your confidence and your self-assuredness. Now, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Turtle and Coriander with satisfaction. And I absolutely love that. Again, this whole reading feels so incredibly positive and promising. And it just feels like there is a lot of nourishment and a lot of fulfillment that you are going to be experiencing through this connection, through this new venture. Again, in like whatever capacity that is for you. Hopefully you'll be able to see the keyword here because these are kind of tiny. But this says satisfaction. Anyway. So yeah, and last thing, because we have turtle here, right? As we all know, turtles are associated with, slowness. Is that a word? They move very slowly and it takes a lot of time for a turtle to move around. And so obviously, again, we get to this point of possibly having had to wait for a long time or be patient for a long time or things just taking forever. But you got there eventually. And I feel like you actually got like a much better deal than potentially the people that arrived there sooner than you did. So just something, to consider. Food for thought. But As the last part of the reading, we are also going to look at the message that is behind the door that you chose as you were choosing or picking this pile. So let's see. Oh my god, this is 3 of Cups, like from the tarot. A toast to friendship in the afternoon sun, 3 cups in happiness, 3 cheers are done. Celebration is near. Look at that. See, like there is just so much positivity that is here. And obviously, again, we are talking about connection. We are talking about unconditional love and friendship and closeness and all of that. So I feel like you definitely have some good times and some serious fulfillment and satisfaction to look forward to. So this is very exciting stuff, pile number 3, and I'm so happy for you. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me, and I hope that this reading was somewhat useful, insightful, or at the very least entertaining for you to watch. And as always, I hope to see you very soon back on this channel. Take care. Bye bye.